Heads up, this video contains end-game plot spoilers regarding the Brotherhood of Steel questline and ending. So if you don't want any spoilers, it's best to turn back now. If you watched my video called Blind Betrayal about the story of Paladin Danse and his true nature, then you'll remember that I talked about how Fallout 4 originally had a completely different ending for the Brotherhood of Steel. This cut content was an ending where you and Danse could challenge Maxon to the eldership of the Brotherhood, kill him, and take command. Now, Bethesda cut this alternative ending during the early stages of creating this faction and the primary quests. This means that they didn't finish it, but they did get some of this ending done, and some of the audio files from this alternative ending are in the published game. Now, upon learning that there was a potential ending where you could become the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, many of my viewers talked about how much they would have preferred that ending for the Brotherhood to the one that we actually got. Many expressed interest in downloading a mod that would restore this ending. Well, today you can. Modder David the Falcon has published a new mod called Face Maxon to Save Danse and Become Elder. This mod restores the cut content from the game. Now, it is imperfect because there's not enough cut content from the game to fully restore it. We find a lot of audio dialogue from Danse in particular, but little to none from Maxon the Soul Survivor or other NPCs. This makes it really difficult to recreate the full experience. But I downloaded and installed the mod, and I want to show you what Blind Betrayal looks like with this mod installed. So you go to Maxon on the Pridwin and he sends you to go take care of Danse. Scribe Halen tells you that he's at Listening Point Bravo, and so you travel to Listening Point Bravo to confront Danse. You and Danse have a conversation as normal, where you convince him that he shouldn't throw his life away just for the Brotherhood. But here's where things change. Once convinced, Danse brings up another option besides simply hiding.
What's our next move?
If you're referring to Maxon, you're right. He's still going to be a problem. But I might have a way out.
Whatever you decide to do, I've got your back.
I suspected as much. When Halen warned me about Quinlan's discovery, she begged me to confront Maxon. She told me that there were Brotherhood soldiers that still believed in me, that would stand behind me if I challenged his authority. At the time, I told her that it wouldn't be right to cause a rift in our ranks. We're on the brink of war with the Institute, and weakening our unity felt like I'd be backstabbing my own troops. But knowing that you're still with me, maybe that will be enough to convince Maxon that he's making a mistake. I'll come back to the Pridwin with you, and we'll confront Maxon together. Right now, I'm not sure we can even get near Maxon before the Brotherhood would cut us down. But we have to try. I've known Maxon for a long time, and under all that protocol is a decent man. Just prepare yourself. I don't know what Maxon will have in store when we arrive.
You and Danse go topside like normal. As in the published game, Arthur Maxon appears in a vertibird and confronts both you and Danse. You have all of the same dialogue options that leads up to the very end where Maxon forces you to make a decision. But here's the difference. You now have an option to express sympathy for Danse, which leads Danse to challenge Arthur Maxon.
Please. He deserves to live.
I see you've made your decision, Knight. How very disappointing. And I don't appreciate being betrayed by my own soldiers.
As a Brotherhood of Steel Paladin, I'm issuing a formal challenge against your authority as Elder. We'll settle this matter as it was written in the litany. In combat.
I'll show you what happens to traitors!
Then you leave me no choice.
Take them down!
This is the part of the job that I love.
Arthur becomes hostile and attacks both of you. You and Danse attack back and kill him. You can loot his unique battle coat, but sadly he's not carrying Final Judgment, his unique Gatling laser. Additionally, this option doesn't allow you to loot his unique Elder paint job power armor. Once he's dead, you can go back to Danse, who tells you to meet him on the Pridwin.
It took a hell of a lot of guts to stand up to Maxon like that. You've come such a long way in a short amount of time, so I can understand how you feel. All I can promise is that I'll be by your side every step of the way. I hope that's enough to convince you to take your place as Elder of the Brotherhood. I know you need some time to come to grips with everything. Hell, all of us do. I'm going to head up to the Pridwin and discuss our next move with Kells. When you're ready, meet me on the command deck, and I'll give you a full report. Sir.
Back on the Pridwin, you find Dance where Arthur Maxon once stood, with the major officers of the Brotherhood arrayed before him.
Excuse me.
Yes. I want to make one thing clear to everyone. This body might be synth, but my heart and mind belong to the Brotherhood. The Institute is still a tremendous threat to the Commonwealth. They possess technologies that need to be confiscated or destroyed. And even if that means I have to pull the trigger on my own kind, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. The litany's clear. We have a new elder. Only a single question remains. Will the rest of the Brotherhood fall in line?
Yes, sir.
Halen, head back to Cambridge and make sure the police station is secure.
Yes, sir.
And Proctor, I believe you have a giant to awaken. Let's get to it, people! And what about you, Elder? What are your orders?
Don't need anything today.
The troops will appreciate that. I know that you're settling into your new position as Elder, but I'm hoping we can still count on you for field ops.
I'll do what I can.
Outstanding.
And with that, you are now Elder of the Brotherhood of Steel, and you can continue on with the major story plotline as normal. But now that you're Elder, you can make some decisions. For example, in the published game, right after Blind Betrayal came Tactical Thinking, where you go and destroy the railroad. But since you are now the Elder, you can choose whether or not to destroy the railroad. When you go to Captain Kells to talk with him about destroying the railroad, there's a new option that says cancel this mission.
No, not interested.
All right.
Rather humorously, Kells basically says, okay, and you're done with it. You failed the Tactical Thinking quest, but you can continue on with the primary quest as if that portion of the quest is done. If you go and visit the railroad, they are not hostile and they are still there as they always were. You can then go to the Mass Fusion building and end the game with the Brotherhood, the Minutemen, and the railroad alive, and Paladin Dance still a Brotherhood soldier, allowing you to use him as a companion without turning the entire faction hostile. So, this is a valiant effort by modder David the Falcon. It's something that many players have long requested, a mod that restores this cut content from the game. I would have greatly preferred this ending to be an option in the game, and with this mod, it now is, but there are some shortcomings simply because there's not a lot of material to work with. None of the other officers of the Brotherhood of Steel have any dialogue recorded, which means that the mod author had to pick and choose bits of dialogue that he thought would fit with this ending, which is why some of the responses are short and sweet. Additionally, some of this cut dialogue from Dance made me think that the event didn't happen at Listening Point Bravo. So for example, Arthur Maxon comes down on the vertibird, confronts you, and then Dance, in a booming voice, says, "I challenge you to the eldership." Well, it seems odd that he would use a big booming voice when there are only the three of you standing there outside of Listening Point Bravo. I think this encounter was originally intended to take place on the Pridwin. Here's how I think the event was first imagined to go. You go to Listening Point Bravo, you talk to Paladin Dance, you convince him that life is worth living, he tells you about the litany, and the two of you leave Listening Point Bravo to fly to the Pridwin. Arthur Maxon does not follow you in a vertibird to Listening Point Bravo, so this would need to be removed. He doesn't confront you outside the bunker, and instead the two of you fly to the Pridwin alone. When you get to the Pridwin, the Brotherhood soldiers see Dance and open fire on you. You and Dance fight together to get to Arthur Maxon. Once you get to Maxon, then Dance challenges Arthur to the eldership, causing all of the other soldiers to stop fighting you, because they remember the litany and they know that Dance is right. Now here's where things get confusing. It's Dance who challenges Arthur to the eldership, and yet it's you, the sole survivor, who becomes the elder. I think there's something missing here that we need to reconstruct. Here's what I think likely happened. Dance challenges Arthur to the eldership, but because Dance is a synth, he can't become an elder. So you, the sole survivor, fight on Dance's behalf. Arthur Maxon is shamed into fighting you, because otherwise he would look like a weakling. You defeat Arthur Maxon and either kill or exile him, which would technically make the eldership fall to Dance, since Dance is the one who challenged Arthur, but because Dance is a synth, he can't become elder, so the eldership falls to you. This happens in front of all of the officers of the Brotherhood of Steel, so everyone is witness to it, which makes it much easier for you to transition into becoming the Elder. That's how I think the encounter was originally intended to go. At any rate, this mod is an ongoing work in progress. David the Falcon has said that he's considering continuing to work on it to make it more convincing and a more viable end-of-game story option, so we may see a more fleshed out version of this mod in the future. But for now, it's completely functional and it does restore the cut content from the Blind Betrayal questline. Obviously, it's not going to work in a game save where you've already completed these quests. This is for new games or for game saves where you have not completed Blind Betrayal. I was able to capture this footage simply by loading an older game save of one of my main characters that I made before I accepted the Blind Betrayal quest. I then accepted Blind Betrayal and I was able to complete the encounter with the cut content restored. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked the video. Let me know your thoughts about this cut content from Fallout 4 in the comment section below. I read all of your comments and I use your comments as inspiration for my future videos. If you'd like to talk about this alternative ending with other like-minded individuals, be sure to join my Oxhorn community Discord server using the invitation link in the description below. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad that you're here watching this video today. Thank you for watching from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.